What's good, y'all? DJ TMac back here to present to you another great hip-hop conversation between Clypto and myself. He's a producer from the West Coast, coming from California. He's produced a bunch of songs and albums recently for artists that I found and have been heavily in my rotation. So it was great to talk to him about his work, his style, his evolution as an artist over the years, and many more things. So if you like the video, make sure you like below, subscribe to my channel, and share. I appreciate all of that. Make sure you connect with Clypto below. I have links below for his profile, the Prodigal Son album, and a whole bunch of more stuff. So check that out, connect, and enjoy the conversation. All right, y'all, back here with another great hip-hop conversation. It's your boy, DJ T-Mac, and today I am talking to an up-and-coming producer out of California. He's taking the time from digging in the crates to speak with us, and we're very pleased to about that. I first heard of his production on a track from the Mussolini and Finess called Blood Diamonds. The most recent thing I've been playing from him is a project he and Finess put together called The Prodigal Son, and it's a real full body of work. You guys heard my conversation with Finess. We talked about it a little bit, but now we'll get the producer side of it. In general, he has a very soulful sounding music, heavily sampled beats, more traditional type of hip hop sound, but still a wide variety, and is doing his own thing. Let's welcome Clypto to Flavor in Your Ear Radio. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No doubt. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Let's get into talking about the underground hip hop scene right now. You know, it's something I've just been getting tapped into more recently. I spoke with Finess, Mussolini, a few other people. What is your take on kind of the underground scene, what's happening right now? There's a lot bubbling, a lot of great artists doing a lot of great things. So tell me what you think about it, its growing popularity, and what it feels like to be a part of it.
It definitely is gaining popularity. I think that the real rap is coming back. The real hip hop with substance is coming back. So I'm definitely excited about that. But just like any other thing, it gets watered down. You know what I mean? Once you got people that are doing the same thing as you, when you've been doing it for years, it tends to get a little bit watered down. But I'm still proud of it. I'm still happy to be a part of it. There's a lot of good music coming out right now with a lot of different artists, and artists that you haven't even heard of until you hear the album, and then you go back and check their back catalog and was like, wow, I'm missing out on all this music all this time and didn't know that there was this great music out. So it's definitely good. I think that the whole Griselda movement and stuff like that kind of made it a little bit more what do they call it, like a household name. Like underground hip hop became more of a household name.
Yes.
So then it made you want to check for like different artists that were in the underground, whereas before it was just like mainstream pop, rap, crap, and that was all you had, or that was all that a lot of people were checking for. It's all they knew that was out. You know what I mean? So I like how Griselda kind of brought everything for all of us to the forefront. It was definitely a good thing.
Absolutely. Big shout out to those guys doing great work. And there's like you mentioned, there's just so many people doing work. There's really not enough time in the day, even for a DJ it's pretty much my job to just go and find new music and people. It's tough to even keep up with it. I like to sit with albums. I'm still on the Prodigal Son album. I'm still digging through that, picking things out of there that I didn't hear, the first few times listening through. So big shout out to everybody doing their thing in the underground scene right now. So how long have you been making music? What kind of got you into hip hop in the first place? Kind of two separate questions. What initially drew you into hip hop? And then what made you want to be a part of it and start creating?
Well, I wasn't always a producer. I used to rap. You can even probably find videos on YouTube of me rapping still. They're old videos or whatever, but you can probably still find them. And I wasn't whack either. I was actually pretty dope. I just lost the ego. And I think with rap, you kind of got to have an ego. You know what I mean? And I just lost the ego. And then I was actually making music. I actually, my brother Excel Beats, We go way back to like 1819. I was in a group called Flatliners, and that kind of stalled out, and then we kind of all went our separate ways. But I was still working with Excel a little bit, and I would go up to LA and work on music and stuff like that with him. But I found that the beats and the selection of music wasn't really like what I wanted to rap over anymore. I didn't want to rap on club stuff. I didn't want to be a club rapper. Like, in all these beats that I was rapping on were like club beats. It started to get that way. And so I'm like, man, like I want to make what I want to rap over, and I saw an interview with Rock Marcy, and he was saying that, don't let these cats beat you over the head with prices of beats. Like, you know what you want to rap over and make what you want to rap over. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and make what I want to rap over. And then once I started making what I wanted to rap over, I didn't want to rap anymore. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make beats and find an artist that I thought would fit each beat, because not every beat that I make is like for me, even though like I'm making them like I still make beats like it, like I would rap over them, like if I would rap over them, but now I just like I make beats for certain artists, and I like doing that. I've always been a fan of like what Alchemist was doing, and he was like creating like full albums with artists, whether it be whoever he's working with, and this was like years ago, when he was like doing stuff with Action Bronson. He was coming out with his own compilation albums, and it would just be all his beats, and then I started to dig back even further of, that's what it was. It was, you had one producer and you had one MC, and you guys came together and you guys created an album. And I like that because it's like you're tailoring everything to the artist, but everything is yours. Every beat that you make is yours. It's not like, oh, Primo did a beat. Oh, Pete Rock did a beat. Oh, and you got these different flavors. It's like it's all you. So you're creating the full backdrop for the album. Like you're responsible. And I like that. I like being responsible for that. I'm not against doing singles, you know what I mean? But I love doing that. I love creating the backdrop for the full project, and that's kind of been my thing is I want to build with artists and I want to create the full backdrop of everything. I want to find the artists that are going to say the right message that needs to be said on whatever said beat, because even though I was a dope MC, I was still kind of one dimensional. I was still kind of like ego driven and, and I wanted to find artists that actually had some substance, something to tell, what it's not all peaches and cream. I want to feel that pain, so I got to find certain artists that are going to tell whatever story that needs to be said on each beat. And I think I've been doing that lately, and I love it, man. I wouldn't change it. And I don't really have any what do they call it, like drive to rap. Like I don't want to rap, I just want to make beats and find artists that I think are dope and build with them.
Interesting. I like that. I do love myself the one producer album. It gives it a more cohesive, consistent flow and sound, I believe. You just said a lot right there. I mean, there's so much to take in and comment on, but I actually sort of have a similar story myself. I started writing out rapping, wanted some different type of beats to get on, or didn't want to pay for beats, whatever. So started, got a turntable, started sampling some things, and just kind of fell in love with that side of it. And now I shifted over even just more into DJing, and focusing on that aspect of it and interviewing and just creating that whole different sort of experience with it. But I just love talking to artists about their creative process, really. So it's great, some of that insight you gave us about working with the one person. You put out the project Prodigal Son with Finess this year. I also saw, a bunch of other projects for the Streets and Scholars Volume 3 with Water. That just came out. Conseco tapes, 12 Jewels, a whole bunch of projects fully produced by you. How many have you put out this year? Do you know?
Dang. This year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6. So I don't know. I got some EPs that are out too with Really or Sparkswell. So I'm not too sure, to be honest. I just been going. I think I got at least like five though. At least five, a strong five or six. I got Laminati 1, Laminati 2. That's with Realio. We got the Prodigal Son. That's 3. That's with Finess. For the Streets and Scholars Volume 3. That's with Water. Dang, did I drop something else? Yeah, I dropped the Tessera with JR. We dropped that. That's an EP. And is there anything else that I dropped?
12 Jewels, Rashad's son.
12 Jewels with Rashad's son.
I heard a little bit of that.
That came out this year too. Earlier this year. Dang, is there anything else? That might be it so far.
Did you do all the beats for a compilation tape also? Conseco tapes?
Oh, I did that one too. Yeah, with Exquisite Dope Records.
Man,
yeah,
there's so much there. So much music. How what is your process like when you are creating music? Let's slow it down. So how do you pick an artist that you want to create with, number one?
Well, it kind of stems from like, I'm not whack, and I wasn't whack when I was rapping. I was not whack. So if you're not better than me when I was rapping, chances are I probably don't want to work with you. And that's not always the case, but for the most part,
there's a certain quality of MC.
A certain quality of MC that definitely. Because if you're not a decent rapper, I don't want to work with you. You have to have you gotta have bars. This is the thing with me. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do on a microphone. If I have to sit around and tell you what to do on a microphone, I'm not working with you. It's like when Madlib was working with Freddie Gibbs. Madlib just sent the beats out. Boom. Freddie Gibbs sent them joints back. He didn't have to tell him what to do. I don't want to have to tell and police anybody to say what to say or any of that. I want you to be able to do what you do on your creative side. Let me do what I do on my creative side, and we come together. And usually there's like a mutual type of, before I reach out to an artist, there's usually like, okay, you've liked some of my Instagram posts. You've commented that some of these are fire. You may DM me, say, hey man, these are some dope beats you got. Or you may not have reached out. And I may reach out to you and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let's build on something. You want to build on an album? Okay, cool. Let's do it. And then, what I've been doing recently is I got like folders. Like I don't really dig in physical crates anymore, even though when I go to like Goodwill and I go to the record store, I do dig, but I don't take anything home. I just don't have any room. So what I do is I e-dig, you know what I mean? So I got folders on YouTube, where you can like create different folders, and I have MC's names on them, you know what I mean? To where, okay, this I'm going to save for, so-and-so, this I'm going to save for so-and-so. And I may not attack it right away, you know what I mean? But when it's that time where I'm like, oh, okay, let me see if I can cook something for so-and-so, then I'll go in his folder because I already have stuff in there for him. So I basically cater certain samples and certain songs that I'm going to sample to certain artists, and sure, there's some that, I may just go on there online and just dig on my little online deal and see what I could come up with and chop some stuff down and create something, and then upload it to IG and see if somebody wants it. But lately what I've been doing is I've been actually creating certain sounds for artists, like certain beats specifically for certain artists. And it seems to work better that way.
It makes for good music, I would say. Yeah, instead of just having it, you upload it, whoever buys it, and then, whatever happens with the song happens with it. But you're definitely trying to create a different experience.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, man, like I used to rap. So if I'm hearing, something, excuse me, if I'm hearing something and I'm like, oh, okay, I can hear Mussolini on this. So I'll already be doing this cadence of flow in my head over the said sample and be like, oh, okay, yeah. Or, oh, yo, Preem is going to kill this joint. Okay, cool. Then I'll bust it down and I'll send it to Preem. And then, because it's different one, oh, Rashad's son. Okay, I can hear Rashad's son getting on this one. You know what I mean? So it's like, or Finess, whoever, Realio, anyone that I work with, I can automatically do their flow in my head and be like, okay, yeah, it's going to work for you. So I think that is the main key of, before I was just making beats. Now I'm actually producing certain things. I'm producing albums. I'm producing a certain sound for certain artists. Sure, I'm sampling all day, but I'm taking certain particular samples for certain artists. If it sounds like a black exploitation movie, okay, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna send that to Moose because I know that's his angle. If it sounds like some pimp shit, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. I'm gonna send it to Finess because I know that's the angle. You know what I mean? So it's just it's just the good thing about knowing the artist that you work with and knowing what they're gonna sound good on. And that's the producer side of it,
Great insight. I love it. I love the producer talk. I love the back end talk. You talked about sort of digging online now. How long sort of have you been doing that? And do you look for new music, or like you pick an artist like, hey, Curtis Mayfield, I want to sample Curtis today. I'm in this type of vibe. How do you kind of choose what music you're sampling that day?
Well, I follow certain channels on YouTube, and those channels usually have other sidebar channels. So I may dig into some sidebar channels too, like not just the channels that everybody else, like Vinyl Frontier. I know everybody takes stuff from Vinyl Frontier, you know what I mean? But I'm not trying to take stuff that everybody else takes from Vinyl Frontier. I'm not trying to do that. So what I was actively doing, and I don't do it as much because I don't get out as much to the record stores, you know what I mean? But what I would do is I would go to the record store, I would see what I like in an album that I picked up or whatever. I would Google or YouTube the name, right? And YouTube the album. If it's on YouTube, I'm good. I can come back home. I don't need to buy the record. I can come back home. And then I'll go ahead and attack whatever said song that I wanted to attack. But now it's to where like I'll just follow certain channels and I call it getting lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? I may go here, I may listen to something, and it may be something like, say, The Main Ingredient, that album, The Main Ingredient, Bittersweet or whatever. I'll check that album out. And then that'll introduce me to another album because maybe that album has been played with too much. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what about this? Or what about who's the lead singer in The Main Ingredient? Oh, it was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad. Let me dig into his catalog. You know what I mean? Or I also follow certain pages on IG too. Like I don't even want to let the cat out the bag of who I'll be following on IG, but basically I follow some certain cats on IG that are like older cats, they're DJs or older cats, and they be like playing certain stuff, and I'd be like, ooh, yeah, I'm taking that. Ooh, yeah, I'm taking that. And then that introduces me to new artists too, like that I haven't really heard or picked up on. So then I can go ahead, and even though he played that one song that I like, now I'm digging through the whole archive of this said artist, and now I'm finding multiple different things. But I find different things in different areas, you know what I mean? Not just soul things, not just soul samples. Lately I've been getting into Japanese city pop. So that's like 1980 to like 87. And it's like city pop. It's like its own like type of genre. You know what I mean? And I'll take stuff from there. Lately I've been taking stuff from the 80s, like 80s, what do they call it? Yacht rock, like that type of stuff.
Yep,
I'll take some stuff like that. I'll take some Bryan Adams. I'll flip some Rod Stewart. You know what I mean? Like different things like that. Like even at the job that I work at, like they play music like that. They play like 80s music, and sometimes I'll be hearing stuff. That's actually where I got the sample for the Finess and the Mussolini Blood Diamonds.
Bro,
that's a Michael Bolton sample.
I literally heard that at work last week on Spotify. I was playing. I was like, I know this. This sounds familiar. So I had to go do a little research, and I found it. I was like, wow.
Like who else is going to snatch some Michael Bolton? You know what I mean? And make it sound to where somebody wants to rap over it. So that's why even with Crisis, like there was a Crisis, a producer, he even said, man, I'll take the t-shirt off your back and make a beat with it. That's kind of where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just dig in certain areas. Like, I'll dig into rock. I'll dig in 80s rock, prog rock, or 70s, late 60s. So I don't even have like a favorite genre to sample, really. I don't even have that. I mean, before when I was first started out, I would take like soul. I would go to the record store and look for soul albums and see what soul albums I could take or whatever. But I got tired of that, man. Like I get tired of it because like at the end of the day, like I used to rap. So I'm not trying to just rap over soul stuff all day. Like there's a lot of different stuff, like some jazz, some 70s jazz, some like I forget what it's called, like Herkshaw or Hackshaw, like I forget what the but it's like jazz. It's like 70s jazz type vibes, like even scores from movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be taking stuff like that, you know what I mean? Even stuff that sounds like it came straight out of like straight out of Thunder in Paradise, you know what I mean? Like just some real raw, like heavy synth 80s type vibe,
Mm-hmm.
like it came out of a Scarface movie, you know what I mean? Like I like taking stuff like that. You know, I like taking everything. I don't discriminate.
Mm-hmm. And your beats definitely have like a cinematic quality. That's why you know, they fit with Moose and Finess so well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Like it's just cinematic, and you're whatever you give them, that unlocks their mind to go do what they do on the track. So it all starts somewhere, and you know, most of the time it's starting with the producer doing their thing. So props to you and sampling and your style and, you know, trying different things.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Who are some of your producers? If I want to say top 5 producers, could you name me like your top 5 that influenced you or that is your favorite to listen to?
Yeah, Alchemist, RZA, old RZA though, old RZA. Who else? Man, there's some cats. Madlib, Dilla. He was like a big influence on me early on.
Dilla.
Ninth Wonder,
Mm-hmm.
Ninth Wonder too.
Mm-hmm.
Big influence on me early on. Not saying that he's a huge influence on me now, but early on when I first started making beats, Ninth Wonder, Madlib, J Dilla, you know, Primo. Even though I can't really chop like Primo, I'm not like on Primo level chop wise, but like Primo, yeah, definitely.
Different style. Yeah, you definitely got the loops down though. Like figuring out.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like
Loop Digger, right?
Yeah, it's like that's what I want to rap over. Like that's if I was still rapping, that's what I would want to rap over. Would be that style. Like, and basically the whole thing about it is, it's like okay, I love the music from these people that they came out with in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, whatever. I love this music that they came out with. I want the listener to be able to appreciate the music just as much as I appreciate it. So at the end of the day, I don't want to add too much stuff to that. I don't need to add too much because I like it the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? So I want the artist to be able to shine because there ain't so much crazy all instruments all in there or whatever. It's stripped down a little bit. Some stuff might have some drums on it too, because like that's not all I do is loop. But you know, that's like my preferred method, I guess, is it's my preferred style that I like to do that's kind of gotten me to where I'm at now, is the looping. But when you hear it, it's like you're able to appreciate the music. I'm not taking too much of my stuff and throwing it on top of there to where it's like, oh, okay, like nah, I want you to feel this Burt Bacharach sample that I felt the way when I heard it. You know what I'm saying? So now Burt Bacharach, he gets this you know, he gets to shine. And even though we ain't sample snitching and all that, you know, you can still do your research and figure out what I took and all that. But you're still hearing the music from where it was, you know, and you're able to appreciate that. So these artists that came out back in the day, they're still able to get their shine. I'm bringing their stuff to the forefront where ain't nobody going to the record store and looking for a Cuba Gooding album. Ain't nobody going to the record store looking for a Cuba Gooding album. But if I flip it and I get an MC on it, now people are like, "Oh man, that's dope. Oh, where'd you get that? Oh, he took that. Oh man, let me look at that." So now Cuba Gooding, you got somebody going to your music, whereas you didn't have nobody going to your music. And that's all for these people, these Japanese city pop artists that are like long gone and, you know, forgotten about and all this type of stuff. These are forgotten people that I'm taking their music and bringing something new, looping it up, switching it around, bringing it to the forefront, getting an MC to rap on it. And now the MC doesn't have to worry about all these crazy drums and all that, and he can just go ahead and float however he wants. That's why a lot of the stuff is open. It may not have no drums, so you can have your own cadence on there to how you want to rap on it. You know, so that's my whole style. Like you want to let the artist shine so he can say his lyrics and ain't too much crazy stuff going on. And at the end of the day, then you got your people that you sample where you're not doing nothing crazy, you know, like super crazy. You just taking something that's forgotten and bringing it to the forefront so that people can hear it and appreciate it the way that you appreciated it when you took it.
I love that, man. That's what I love about hip hop. And that's what people don't understand about hip hop. They're like, oh, they're just stealing music. You can't play the instruments yourself, this and that. But no, you're shining a light on these artists that aren't getting any attention right now.
Yeah.
You know, you're bringing their music back. You're letting people appreciate it in a different way. And, you know, I'm like you. We have a very similar mind. You know, I love the older music as well. You look at my Spotify last year, my most listened to decade was like the 70s. So it is interesting pulling the art of pulling from older music and making it something new. Something I also try to do in my DJ sets is, you know, just play music I love. When I'm at the club, obviously, you know, you got to cater to the audience a little bit, but I want you to hear this Hall & Oates record, even how I enjoy it. You know, at a certain time, you can move a certain way to it. So, you know, I relate to you on that sense, trying to get people to appreciate the older music because it is great stuff that, you know, there's tons of it. Once again, not enough time in the day to go and listen and appreciate all of it.
There's a lot of feeling in it too. There's a lot of feeling, you know, there's just a lot of feeling in it, man. I can't really say that enough because in the older music, they was actually talking about something. So you may spin a whole record and then you're able to hear like, yo, man, they were like so passionate and had so much like passion to what they were talking about and what they were saying. And even the notes that they were hitting and stuff like that, like they were really bringing their A game. Like there was a saying like back in the day, like if you couldn't sing like really well, you're not making it off Crenshaw. You know what I mean? So you wouldn't even make it to these record exec labels or, you know, Capitol Records. You wouldn't make it nowhere. You know, if you couldn't really sing a lick, if you couldn't really do something very special, you was not making it off the block. And a lot of these artists, they were very, very special and they had a lot of great talent. And it definitely needs to be brought to the forefront. You know, you feel something. If it's like somebody saying something like whatever they're saying, like even when I take like certain loops of certain voice samples in the loop, like let's take Blood Diamonds, for example. You know, you don't understand. No, it's like, you know what I mean? Like you don't understand, like, about forever, baby, when you talk about us. It's like we're here forever. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna be here forever. Like you don't understand. It's just I don't know. I can't call it, man. It's like it's like whatever moves me, I'm gonna take that piece. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of gonna work around it. You know what I mean? It may be a voice sample, it may not be, but you know, that's kind of like an example. You know what I mean? To where like they're really saying something in their music, and it actually makes you feel what the artist was saying. So now you're getting what the artist was saying, you're getting the beat. So it's like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to do my creative thing over it, you know?
What you said it had a lot of the music back then had a lot more like feeling and like almost substance to it. Why do you think that's missing from today's music?
Well, I could say a whole lot about that, but I think it's like why it's missing. I think it had to do with after the 70s, when the 80s came around, you can even do the research on it with picking up a record from, say, 1985, 86, 87, to picking up a record from 81, 82, and 83, to picking up records from the 70s and the 60s. Once these big wigs that were in, I guess, in charge or whatever, started recognizing that, hey, you know, we're having a whole thing of Woodstock And a lot of these people are anti-war. A lot of these messages in their music is anti-war. And it's reaching the people. A lot of this music, this Bob Marley, he's able to go over in Africa and bring and unite Africa in that whole show that they didn't want him to do. He went ahead and did it anyway and brought Africa together for that moment. So they knew the power of these artists. So they had to take more control. And I think that once the digital stuff started coming into play, whereas I'm talking about with the 85, 86, 87, where a lot of this stuff was digital now. They weren't going in there with, it's the feeling when you have a real live drummer versus you have like a beat machine. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Everything's so quantized. Everything sound. When I take stuff from like 85, 86, 87, and I take one piece and I take my other 5 pieces that I'm going to lay into the beat, 99% of the time, I don't have to do a thing because they're already sequenced at like 90 or whatever BPM that one chop that I took. Everything is sequenced to that point. Mm-hmm. But if I'm taking stuff from like 75, latest 83, chances are if I take one piece here and I take another piece here, I'm going to have to adjust it and time stretch it just a little bit to make it fit because it's not all, on one plane. It's not one BPM, one type of beat per minute. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit off, which gives it that more human feel. And once we moved over to the digital age, you lost that human feel and it gradually got worse. Now we see it now where all these people are using auto-tune. They ain't got no singing voice. But if this was like how it was back in the day, you wouldn't be able to get up off of Crenshaw. It wouldn't happen. So now we're just losing all emotion and human feel in the music in general, and it's gradual steps, that was taken, for this to happen. And I think the 90s was probably the last, the what do they call it? The gust of air where it's like, like they're really trying to keep that. Mm-hmm. And after the 90s, 2000, it was a wrap. And they already had that on in control, after like, F the Police came out and all that type of stuff, putting the parental advisories on the CDs and stuff like that. And then they started to have more control. What are we going to play on MTV? What are we not going to play on MTV? With that whole fight the power, if you look at when they killed, what's the dude that they killed? He got shot 7 times and it was like in the year 2000. Sean Bell, I think it was what his name was. I'm not entirely certain if that was his name, but if you look at what the hot song was during that time, it was Like a Lollipop. It was Lil Wayne, Like a Lollipop. So ain't nobody up in arms, ain't nobody going to march, ain't nobody going to do none of that because the song of the time was Like a Lollipop. Now, if you go back to Rodney King, all that type of stuff, what was the song that was popping during that time? Fight the Power. It correlated. You know what I'm saying? Everything was correlated to the times. They had to get rid of all that, man. They can't have stuff like that. That's like having the biggest record, like right now, say, let's say like the biggest record right now, like how Fight the Power was, the biggest record right now in the United States was Free Palestine. If that was the biggest record, we'd be having a problem. We'd be getting stuff done. We would be bringing stuff to the forefront that not a lot of people know. A lot of people would be more hip to what's going on. You'd have a song to go with your march, to go with your whatever you're trying to do. You know what I mean? But now you look at what's the hot song right now. I can't tell you because I don't know. I don't listen to the radio, but you know what I'm saying? I probably could tell you it's some bourgeois. It's probably nothing that's, great. It's nothing that's gonna jog your no
substance in it.
Yeah, no substance in it. So that's why I think it just, the powers that be had a role in it too, but at the end of the day, once it gets too digitized and stuff, you lose the human feeling. Like it's certain vibrations in the music. So if I'm listening to something that says, you say it's got a lot of auto-tune in it, I'm automatically like the vibration of it is going to throw me off because it's not human. You know, it's not human enough for me. But a lot of people they don't understand the vibrations and all that type of stuff for the music, and you know the even like how high we have the music when we're recording it and when it transpires and all that. Even getting away from analog tape and doing things the old-fashioned way with analog. Once you throw everything to digital, it kind of like, you know, it shrinks the file down. It's a whole science behind it, you know. And I think that they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I think we're trying to bring it back a little bit. You know, I hear like a lot of like Daptone Records. There's a lot of like These Sacred Souls. There's a lot of old school music out there that's actually new music, but they sound like they came straight out of the 60s and 70s. So I think slowly but surely, like, you know, we're trying to get that back.
Yeah, man, I think so too. I really like how you articulated that whole thing. You said it well. You said it well. So let's talk about something that has some substance, has a lot of substance, has a lot of soul, has a lot of feeling to it, and that's the Prodigal Son album. I spoke to Finess about this album, but from your perspective, talk about how this came together and what the process was like for you.
Yeah, and it was really good, man, because I had a bunch of beats. I still do. I have a bunch of beats in the archives. You know what I mean? And when I heard the Blood Diamonds joint, I reached out to Finess. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm loving what you did on that, man. Let's build on an album." And he was with it. So I sent him probably like a pack and a half of beats, and that's what started it. And then we dropped the Ernie Shavers record. That was the first record that we dropped. And from there, we just continued to build. And then I would post stuff on IG, and he'd be like, "Yo, G, I need that one. I need that one." So I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's send you that one." And he would tell me the ideas. We would chop it up back and forth on the ideas of certain records. And, you know, until the record is done, I don't get the full gist of the record. But I think he did an exceptional job. Even I told him this too, even down to the ad libs of the records to paint a certain picture. His picture painting is very precise, and it gets you to where you're going on a trip with Finess, basically. You know what I mean? Because he's gonna tell you a bunch of things, man, and just you with him right there on that trip. So when he was talking to me about the collection plate song, for instance, he was telling me about man, well, I got an idea for this joint, man, the collection plate, man. You know, and they're gonna be passing the collection plate at the altar and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, cool, you know, I get it, you know. Well, he went ahead, did the record. Then after he did the record, he threw the I think it's from Don't Be a Menace.
Don't Be a Menace, yeah.
Don't Be a Menace, yeah. Yep. Threw that in there to kind of tie everything together. Same way with the Views from the Top. You know, he did the Views from the Top record. And then when I heard the Views from the Top, it already had the intro, and he's like, "You said we were going to the top. That's why we came." I still don't know what movie he took it from. I still don't know. But it was like, yo, like that was like meant to be in the beginning of that song. You said it's gonna go to the top. That's why we came. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's awesome that he brought his own like sort of sampling style into that. That's definitely something that he has in a lot of his tracks, is little quotes and things like that. And
even with I don't mean to cut you off. Even with the what's it? Ghost of Steel, where he's like, "We ain't kill him though."
Yeah, man. He's got
he got a bunch of different things in there to where it's like, yeah, I made the beats, but he definitely brought his A game as far as like executive producing this album, you know, and then mixing and mastering the album. Fredo did an exceptional job mixing and mastering this album. You know what I mean? It all came together really, really well. And I was actually surprised how well it came together, because me just making the beats, it's like, yeah, and then him doing the raps is cool. But once you throw those different elements in there, it really takes this project from, you know, a good solid project to a great project. And like you said, I don't get tired of it. I don't get tired of it. It's crazy. I don't get tired of the album. You know, and there's different flavors. You know, today I might be on the Wide Path joint, you know. What you say one more day? I might be on that. I might be on the Ice Lord joint, you know. The Adventures of Sancho, I might be on that. I might be on the what's the other joint with Izzy Hot? I might be on that one. You know what I mean? I might be on the intro joint, you know what I mean? Or the what's the single that we dropped?
My Well-Being.
Oh, how do I know? Yeah, that one, My Well-Being. I might be on that. So it's like this, yeah, it's different vibes, but it's all under one umbrella. And I think he definitely executed that very well, man. Executed it to the top, man, because I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not even that you know, I know some movies and stuff like that, but I'm not like so on it to where I could put, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this from this, and I can't do that, man. That's all
he's right always taking in notes and information and saving it for later and putting it out in his own way, and he does a great job of that. Shout out Finess, Fredo, you, everybody associated with the project. You guys really put it together, did an excellent job. I believe some physicals are coming for that also, right? You guys are gonna have some CDs out. Are those available yet?
I think they may be available right now. I don't know if they're on the Bandcamp yet or whatnot. I haven't touched base with but I know they're out now.
Okay, all right. So everybody, you could go cop that. I'll have a link below. Where can people find you and connect with you? Let's just shout that out real quick.
The best place to connect with me is probably on IG. I don't even be on the Facebook anymore. I don't like to be in people's thoughts and all that. But
it's too much going on.
Yeah, it's too much going on. You can find me on IG under Clypto Beats. So CLYPTOBEATZ, and that's my IG. And I'm usually on IG all the time. So if you want to get a direct contact with me, that would be the place to be.
Posting up beats on the daily. Got some new fresh flavor.
I've been trying.
Is that something you try to like? Do you have like a goal like per week? Hey, I need to put out 5 beats this week. What sort of like schedule do you try to
basically what kind of switched everything around for me as far as my IG is my man Supreme Cerebral. He hit me, man. We do a lot of work. He hit me and was like, yo, I talked to my partner, man. He's kind of like an advisor or whatever. And he told me, yo, man, I love who did the production on your work, man. Does he have an IG too? Yeah, he has one. Here it is. And he's like, yo, man, I love Clypto's beats, but his Instagram is horrible. Because all I would do is just I would just post me in front of the computer, me put my phone in front of the computer playing the beat. It's lame. You know what I mean? It's lame. Yeah, you got some good beats, but it needs to look as good as it sounds. So he told me, Preem told me, hey man, when you post a beat, every beat needs to have artwork from now on. Every beat that you post needs to have some type of artwork. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, you know, you don't have to post like all the time, you know, just post one a week. You know what I mean? One a week. So I was like, all right. So I started doing that. I started posting a 1 a week or 2 a week or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I got so many doggone beats in my archive. I got so many beats that's sitting around and nobody's using. Let me just see if I could post one a day. See if I can do that. So some days I miss, you know what I mean? I mean, some days I may miss. I may miss like a day. I usually don't go with a day or two. Usually 2 days is probably max for me. And then I'm back on posting another beat. So that's what I try and do is I try to just stay in the loop, as you would call it. You know what I mean? Like just have something on there to where if somebody wants to buy something, you know, somebody wants a beat or somebody wants to cop one, here goes a new beat. If you like this one, cool. Or, you know, an artist that I'm building with, hey, you know what I'm saying? I like that beat. We should use that for the album. Okay, cool. I didn't even know you would like that. Cool. We'll save that for the album. You know, so that's what I do. And, you know, I'm building with so many different artists that I have different like albums that are like kind of in the works still, you know, to where it's like, oh, we may need like 4 more joints or we may need like 2 more joints or something like that, to where if I post it and then they'll DM me, be like, yo, we need that one right there.
That's
We
the
need that
joint.
one. And they'll be like, all right, cool. There we go. We'll put that one to the side. So it helps me just stay active with you know, everyone that I'm working with and stuff like that, to where, you know, they can still tap in with me and know like, okay, yeah, you can get this beat, or, you know, yeah, we'll build on this beat, or somebody wants to buy a beat. Hey, I really like that beat, man. Let me cop that. You know, then okay, then you can buy that beat. So it's just so I'm in the loop constantly. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to take too much time off. You know what I mean? Like I do take my little breaks here and there, but I still like to be active. You know, working on something. Even if I'm not posting for those 1 or 2 days, chances are I'm doing something else to where I'm getting stuff finalized or whatever on a business side of things. You know.
Speaking of the business side of things, I was talking to my account earlier today, you know, trying to get some things in order. The business of being producer, it's a pretty interesting one, I would say. You know, we talked about kind of how you choose what kind of artists you want to work with, but do you have like a standard agreement or something? How do you work out like terms and stuff like that with different artists?
Um, you know, usually, like say we're building on an album, you know, it's some type of mutual stuff going on to where we're building on an album. Um, we come out, oh, I make the beats, okay, he does the lyrics. We want to come out with physical CDs. We'll go half on the physicals. I'll put in half, he'll put in half. Whatever Bandcamp that we use, he puts them on Bandcamp, puts the album on Bandcamp. We split sales, you know what I mean, and do things that way as far as you know, how everybody gets to eat. You know what I mean? Say that's not the case, and say it's different. Say somebody's in my inbox talking about, yo, I want to buy a beat, or yo, I want to work with you, and you know, you're not really established, you're not really an established artist, then I'm probably just gonna charge you right off the bat. And I may give you a decent rate. I may give you half my rate if I think that you're dope, or if I think that you got potential, I may give you a deal on my rate, you know. But if you're just somebody that's not established and you're in my inbox, you're probably gonna pay for a Clypto beat. But that's not saying that we're not going. That's not saying that just because you paid for a Clypto beat doesn't mean that I'm not going to be involved and want this shit to be A1. Because if it's not, I'm not going to promo it. You know, I'm not going to promo it. You know, like yeah, you come out whatever you want to come out with, but if I don't promo it, it ain't going to get too much buzz. I'm not gonna give it to you know, any blogs or, you know, any of my peoples to upload it and promo it if it's not A1. So, you know, I definitely have I have a say so in like what's going on with my stuff. You know what I mean? I want you to be dope. I want it to be dope. That's it. I want to make great music at the end of the day. And if we can do that, cool. If not, then you know, it doesn't. I always used to say like, it doesn't matter how much money you got. If you're whack, you're not going to get a Clypto beat. You lucky you even getting to hear it on IG, because that was my motto. If you're whack, you're not even going to be able to hear a Clypto beat. And that was before I was on IG, you know. And then I started kind of like getting on IG and, you know, kind of branching out a little bit. But before I wasn't even on IG like that. I was only on Facebook. That was when me and Preem had the Master Builders album out in 2016. And that's when I got on Instagram. But I've been making loop beats since 2013. You know, I got my first placement with Smooth in 2015. You know, that was my first placement. You know, and then I kind of branched out from there. You know, and Preem kind of took me under his wing, and we started building and came out with Master Builders. And then after that, he helped me out with the loop, and that was my first compilation album that I came out with in 2018. But I've been working on it since 2017. So yeah, man, it's like if you're dope and you want to build on an album with me, man, then we can do it. You know what I mean? And we'll split. We'll go 50-50 on everything, man. That's usually how it works for me. And then everybody eats at the end of the day, you know.
I like it. I like it. The art of sampling music. Do you ever get nervous with samples?
I'm probably one of the only people. Well, I'm not one of the only people, but I'm one of the people that does not. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna take whatever I want, whenever I want, And that's just it. And I know, like, it's like I know, like, I'm not gonna push 500,000 copies of anything. So at the end of the day, you're not checking for me. You're not checking for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sample whatever I want to sample.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, it's like if I come across a sample and I know it's been played or it's been used a lot, I probably won't take it. However, if I come across a sample and I'm like, man, I know it's been used by so and so, but and I love this sample, man. This is dope. I'm gonna take this. So I mean, sometimes it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and take it. And I'll take whatever. I don't care. I'll take some city pop. Like I said, I'll take some rock. There are a few artists though that like I don't sample just because like they don't want their music sampled or they're like really crazy with like their music being sampled, like the Beatles. I don't take no Beatles records. Anita Baker, I don't take no Anita Baker samples.
Probably
Just because
Prince,
she does
Prince in that category.
Prince probably too. Yeah, like I don't take his stuff. Like Michael Jackson, who will take Michael Jackson. Older Jackson stuff I will take.
Mm-hmm.
Like older Michael Jackson, like when he was with the Jackson 5 or like when he first did like Off the Wall or something, even though a lot of those samples have been played. So like I really don't take a lot of that stuff from them. And that's not because I can't or whatever. It's just like I know how strongly they feel. Like Bob James, like I'm not gonna take no Bob James. I'm not gonna do it. Even though I did, and I when I was actively digging in record crates, like I would take Bob James stuff and I would sample Bob James. Like I have beats that sample Bob James or whatever. But I'm not gonna do that because I know how strongly you feel about me sampling your music. So you know what? That's cool. I'll sample somebody else's music that doesn't really mind that much. That's going to be cool with me bringing his music to the forefront. If you feel so crazy about, and that's the thing, like I'm not cool with that track live stuff because if you felt so strongly about people sampling your music and you went to the extent of you suing these people, and now all of a sudden you saying, hey, it's cool, just sign up with TrackLib and you can sample all of my music that you want to sample. It's cool. Well, it wasn't cool back then. So why is it cool now? Because you finna get chipped off? But when somebody was bringing your music to the light, you didn't like it. So I'm cool with sampling Bob James. I'm cool with sampling Anita Baker, and I'm cool with sampling the Beatles because they don't want their music sampled. That's cool. I don't need to make them relevant. They're already relevant. Everybody knows who they are. And that's the thing. I don't want to take people that everybody knows who they are. I'm going to take somebody that's somebody obscure, that will appreciate, oh man, you took my stuff and now everybody's hearing this song. Oh, great, man. Dope, man. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you just like how you appreciate me. It's a 50-50, So that's the thing about it. Like, yeah, I may be snatching your music up, man, but dude, who's really checking for your one hit wonder album that you came out with in 1973 that nobody plays anymore? Who's really checking for that? And you're going to sue somebody over that? That's a problem. So those types of people, I don't be taking their stuff. If they don't want their stuff taken, it's cool. I'll take somebody else's.
Got it. I like it. You mentioned your project, The Loop, a little while ago. Was that like your first project, the first Clypto project that you put together and came out?
Yeah, that was my first Clypto compilation project. That was and it came out in 2018. So basically, like me and Preem worked on it together. He found a lot of the artists to get on those beats for the loop too. If it wasn't, or for the loop, excuse me, we're working on loop 2 now, but for the loop, if it wasn't for Preem, man, we probably wouldn't even and he actually hit me up and he was like, yo, you should come out with and this was just like some conversation. He was like, yo, you should come out with with a compilation album. And I was like, yeah, really? He's like, yeah, man, I've been trying to holler at my producer friends, but nobody wants to do one. But you should work on your compilation album, man. I'll help you. Don't trip. So I was like, all right, cool. And I wound up getting some of the songs together, getting certain people on certain records, and so did he. And we came together and it was a really, really dope project and it got a vinyl press. So
nice.
Yeah, it was dope. We're actually in the process of working on the finalizing the loop 2 right now.
Hmm.
So should be good.
Yeah, Loop 2. I was going to ask you about it. That's the next one to come out, I guess. The first single, Dead Pirate Robbers, featuring Napoleon the Legend, Supreme Cerebral, and Ill Consciousness. That's a dope track. Let's talk about it. Why did you want that one to be the first one off the album? And, just talk about what you want to bring to the people with this project.
It's actually the second, and it's with
Excuse me.
it's a Dread Pirate Robbers
Dread.
with Supreme Cerebral, Napoleon the Legend, and Ill Conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to all those dudes, man. They really brought their A game on that record. That's the second one though. The first one is called Death Before Dishonor, and that's with Snotty and Grips
Mm-hmm.
and Supreme Cerebral on that record. You could probably find it if you Google. I don't know who uploaded it on YouTube, but I think it's on YouTube.
I got it. I'll get it real quick.
It's but Death Before Dishonor is the first one, and then we went ahead and dropped Dread Pirate Robbers, and that's like a stripped down sample, and I went ahead and sent it to. Actually, I think I might have uploaded it on IG, and Preem was like, "Yo, we need that one, and I was like, "All right, cool." And then he wound up getting Napoleon the Legend on it, and then after I heard that, I was like, "Ooh, this is dope." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Ill Conscious too." So I was like, "Oh, okay, word." So yeah, it came together dope. And Ill Conscious is actually on the loop too. He's actually on the first loop as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was dope, man. I like the record, and it's getting a lot of good attention. So I don't know if we're gonna drop another one before the album drops. I think we're slated to drop like in November sometime for the album, but we might drop another single before the album drops. But yeah, I think we got like 14 tracks on the loop too. So should be dope. Should be a dope listen.
I bet. I'm looking forward to it. Is that something you want to do like more often? Is your goal just to make music, no matter if it's mine, if it's theirs? What's like your goal, and like what are you trying to push out or work on more?
I like it. I like doing the compilation thing. I like doing it. It's dope. Because at the end of the day, what I really want to do is I want to create the full backdrop behind whatever artist, whatever. So all those are my beats, every single one of them. So I accomplished being the curator of the beats for all the songs on the album. That's what I like to do. I'm not against making singles and dropping singles, but that's what I want to do. And I don't know if that's a goal, but I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy doing the backdrop of the full spectrum of everything, beat wise, and then just getting, certain artists and building with them on an album and coming out with an album, like just how me and Water did with the For the Streets and Scholars Volume 3. We did the For the Streets and Scholars Volume 2 as well. So we did that one, I think a year and a half ago or whatever. We did that one and dropped that one. So it's the same thing. Like I want to be able to, and I don't know where I got that idea from. I think I got it from Alchemist. You know what I mean? Because he was doing that like 2014, 2015. He would like create certain albums and it would be all his production, and I'm like, oh, that'd be dope, man, to kind of like do that. That's what I really want to do. And I don't know, he might even have said it in the interview, like that's what he likes to do, is he likes to do that. Like he just likes to create the full backdrop for everything and then finding whatever artist that he's working with and then, coming out with an album. Even that whole Madlib Freddie Gibbs, same type of deal, like I really, really love Madlib beats and I really like Freddie Gibbs' delivery. So hearing that come together, it was great. It was like, oh man, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So in the future, I just want to like continue building with like-minded individuals that are going to say whatever needs to be said on whatever said beats, and we just continue to build. And as a saying that that my boy Chad Shine put me on, he was like, my success is your success, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So if I'm successful, you're successful. Let's just let's build each other up and let's get each other to the next plateau and the next plateau after that. You know what I mean? Like I don't I don't discriminate. You know what I mean? You got 2,000 followers, you got 500 followers. If you're dope, you're dope. Let's go. I'm gonna bring you to the forefront. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use whatever I got. You're gonna use whatever you got. We're gonna put it together, and we're gonna build. That's it.
I like it, man. I like your outlook a lot. Another one of the projects that I found while doing research on you was Clertis.
That's crazy you say that. Yeah, that was a beat tape I came out with.
That was a beat tape, man. I love just listening to beat tapes. I have Dilla, Pete Rock, Large Professor, just instrumental vinyl. You know what I mean? I like to just put that on and rock with it. Do you plan on doing any more beat tapes, or you like you said, creating the soundscape and then somebody else is going to come over and do it?
Yeah, I may. That was an idea that I kind of ran with because I wanted to sample every single track off that Curtis album and make a beat out of it. And I did that. And I don't really know. I think I was trying to like kind of keep my stuff going for a while because I didn't have anything going after the loop. And I was like, well, what else can I put out to kind of keep my name buzzing? Okay, well, let me do this, you know. And I actually wound up placing 2 of those beats. One of those beats is going to be on me and Elo Kush album coming up soon. I think we're dropping that like at the end of October, actually. And then another beat I actually sold to an artist by the name of Reese White. And that's the beat where it's like, the righteous way to go, go. I wound up selling that to him, and he wound up shooting a video for that joint and putting it on his little mixtape. So, yeah, I like doing the beat tape thing. I like doing it. I got so many beats, you know what I mean? That it's like I do want to do that. You know, I do want to do some beat tapes, but I don't know. I might do some more. Never
That's
know.
something that I feel like, you know, the DJs of today, you know, like in the 90s, they would go and buy the singles of the single record, vinyl record, and it would have the regular version, the edited version, the acapella, the instrumental, you know, all this different stuff. And then the DJs were able to really get into their art form of creating mashups and blends. And that's something that I feel like I'm missing a lot from newer artists. So hey, anytime you got some extra beats, you need, you know, you want somebody to mess around with, I got you.
Oh yeah, word, no doubt. And that's crazy, man, because like I love doing that too. You know, I love making remixes. You know what I mean? I
saw you do some remixes, yes.
I love doing that. So I'm definitely with you on that, man, because it's like that's where you're able to like, oh, you took this acapella. Oh, now you can create your own stuff that you want to do around this acapella. So you could get people to be like, yo, this dude's got some dope beats. I never knew he got some dope beats, but hearing an established artist on something that you created now it's like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. That's actually how I got my how I got a little bit of buzz going a little bit early on in my stuff is I was doing that. I was doing remixes of because I was like, yo, man, not enough people or not people that I want to work with. They're like, oh, you know, Clypto's beats, whatever. Okay. But now I got Nas on my record. Now you hear how Nas is ripping this record? Okay, that's what needs to happen. So now when you hear a certain artist on my beats now, it's like, oh yeah, that's dope. I can hear it now. Because it's like sometimes people hear your beats and they're like, yeah, but I don't know what to do with it. Well, this is what you need to do with it. Here, let me take this acapella and put it on here. Yeah, and show you. So that's what I was doing for a little while too. And I still do it from time to time because it's fun. I like doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. That's cool. And like I said, it's something that I think is missing a little bit. So any artists out there, producers, you know, let the DJs have some fun with your art too, and let them sample and do their own thing with it. Let's talk. I just have some general questions now. You know, we both enjoy riding around and listening to older decades of music. What sort of music do you like to listen to? Is there anything specific? What sort of artist or vibe are you on like right now? Are you able to kind of put your finger on it or give us a little glimpse into your brain a little bit?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is like I don't listen to a lot of hip hop. And if I do listen to a lot of hip hop, It's hip hop that I made.
Mm.
It hip hop that I had a hand in is what I listen to. For the most part, I really don't check for a lot of different things. I mean, I do, but I don't like rock out like say like the new West Side Gun album. I'm not listening to the new West Side Gun album on the way to work. I'm not doing that. I'm listening to like my stuff
Hmm.
that I had a hand in. So, but on the day to day, like what I like to listen to, I don't like to listen to a lot of rap because I make rap music. So I like to listen
Yep.
to a lot of soul, 70s soul, 80s. You know, that's kind of like my vibe. And I don't listen to a lot of music like throughout the day, like working a lot too. So um, I do like to listen to a lot of the music like that they play at the job, which is like 80s music.
Hmm.
For some reason, like that whole 80s vibe, like that's kind of what I've been on lately, you know.
I
They
feel
got a
that,
lot,
man. I'm the
yeah, they got a
same. I'm
lot
the
of
same way.
got a lot of dope stuff in that 80s, man, that's been overlooked.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at. 70s and 80s, really. That's kind of
Hmm.
where I'm kind of like an old soul when it comes to that.
Man, you'd like Flavor in your ear radio. You got to tune in on a Monday night sometime. You know, I'll send you
Oh,
the link.
word.
You'll enjoy the
Yeah,
show.
please do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
Some Hall and Oates. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. All of
I
that,
can't
all
go
that.
for that. Yeah.
We go everywhere. How I used to do a lot of my shows is like the whole first hour, I wouldn't play hip hop music. I would play everything that sort of influenced hip hop or that people sampled from. And in the second hour, we get more lyrical and dig into more history of hip hop and stuff like that. But I like to, it's called flavor in the ear. We don't keep it to one specific flavor. We got all the ingredients. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You dig it.
Uh, so before we started talking, you let me know that your name is an acronym. Talk
Yeah.
about it. Break it down for us and talk. Let's talk about it.
So when I first started with my rap name, it was I was like, oh, I want to be Kryptonite. Oh, but I don't want to be associated with the Crips. You know, this is when I'm in high school.
Hmm.
I don't want to be associated with Crips. Okay, well, what about crypto? And then it's like, oh, well, that's still kind of like Crippish. And I'm like, okay, well, what about Clypto? Oh, okay, cool. So I was just going by Clypto with no acronym attached to it. Then later on, um, I added that because your name is supposed to stand for something. Your name is supposed to stand for something. It's supposed to have meaning behind your name. And it's also supposed to be something true to you and true to yourself. So can't let your power turn oppressive. That's it. So everybody has power. Everybody can have, certain power. But when you use your power to oppress people, to have some oppressive power, then that's not what you want. So it's always can't let your power turn oppressive. So no matter how big you get, no matter how many fans you get, no matter whatever, you know what I mean? You can't use your power for bad. You always got to use it for good, man. So can't let your power turn oppressive. And
Mm.
that's what I ran with. And I said, okay, that's gonna be it. So yeah, I like it.
I like it too, man. I like it. It gets deep, man. But that's definitely a thing within hip hop. The acronym Wu Tang with the unpredictable talented. And I don't even think I really said it that much. But TMac is, the man adventuring creativity. So there's
Uh,
something to that too. So I
yeah.
appreciate it. We're on a similar wavelength, my man.
Yep, indeed.
Um, So something you kind of touched on it a little bit when I was doing some research. Some of the artists they said beats by, some of them said produced by you. Do you like to distinguish between being a producer and a beat maker? Do you like to have a distinguishing, line between them, or is it kind of
Man,
what it is?
my man Excel gets on me about that. He's like, man, you're not a producer, Crypto. You're not a producer. You're a beat maker. But I understand that. I am a beat maker. But what I am doing, which what we touched on earlier, is a producer type of thing to do.
Hmm.
You are taking something and catering it to someone. You are taking a say, for the sake of time, you're taking a Bob James record. Say I took a Bob James record, Nautilus. You know what I'm saying? And I have actually a beat that samples Nautilus. But say I take that beat, but I'm making that beat for a certain artist. Then I give it to the certain artist, and he raps on it, and he says, "Hey, I need more stuff like that." Now I'm going and I'm finding certain samples that are going to be in that realm that I'm taking and I'm sending strictly to him. I'm not just making beats. I got folders of different artist names, and I'm putting certain samples in certain folders for certain artists. That's what a producer does. That's a producer type thing. So am I creating my own, am I playing the piano? No, I'm not playing the piano. Am I playing the drums? No, I'm not playing the drums. But what am I doing? I'm doing a producer thing. I'm finding certain artists that fit a certain sound. You know what I mean? Like that's a producer type job. So 100%. when you're doing the full backdrop for an album, like you're actually producing the album. You're producing it. You're finding what samples are going to fit. Oh, okay, we're lacking in this area. We need a Rock Marcy type sample. Oh, okay, let me find one and put that in there. Oh, okay, we're lacking on. We need something a little bit hard. Okay, let me find the '80s rock sample that I could take that will fit the bill for that. So I would say I'm both. I'm a beat maker, but I'm also a producer too. I also do producer things.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say how you were describing your work and what you do earlier. It was producer all the way. So, I wanted to ask you, get your opinion on that, but interesting. I mean, you're definitely doing high quality work. No question about it. It's high level.
Okay.
It's full on producer work. Do you watch the versus battles that are happening? I didn't catch the most recent one with Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One, but is that something that you're into? Do you enjoy watching, the older artists kind of get to battle it out on this new sort of platform?
To be honest, sure don't. I don't. And I've caught glimpses of like the whole thing or whatever. And I think that got popping because of COVID. I think
100%.
It got popping because of COVID, and I despise COVID and like all that type of propaganda and all that stuff that's been happening behind it and all just the whole situation behind it. So anything that has to do with COVID-19, I kind of stay far away from, even though it's not like a direct deal or whatever. It just got popping because of COVID, and just to watch these old dudes on there perform their old music and whatever. It's like, why don't I just go to your concert? Why don't you just you can't have a concert because of why? Because of COVID. So that's why you're doing all this.
Mm.
I'm not a big fan of the verses, but I do hear that it's entertaining. It is entertaining, but that time I could be spending a whole hour on watching the versus battle. I could be flipping a sample. So if I got time to sit and watch a versus battle, then I don't got time to watch a versus battle. I only got a certain amount of time in each day to do what I like to do. So anything else that I'm doing that ain't feeding what I'm trying to do, I don't really got time for it. When I was younger or whatever, like maybe I had more time to do all that type of stuff. So maybe if it came out when I was like 22 or 23 or whatever, when I was first started making beats, and maybe I'll watch the verses a little bit more and be more into like certain things. Like I don't even watch sports. You know what I mean? I don't even do all that.
I fell off that hard, too. I appreciate that. I appreciate that sentiment. And as I was asking the question, I'm like, after this conversation, I know the answer to this. He definitely don't watch it. He's not paying attention to that. And that's cool, man. That's why we get the high quality work from you that we do. So, you keep doing your thing.
Appreciate you.
This is Flavor in Your Ear Radio. I make pizza at the restaurant. That's what I'm all about, bringing people the flavor. Do you have... You're on the West Coast. I've never been out to California. In New York, pizza slices is like a huge thing. So do you have a pizza spot that you go to, a go-to pizza spot? And if not, what is your go-to type of food spot? I ask everybody this at the end of the interview. I'm compiling a list of where I got to go when I'm traveling around. So when I'm out west, where do I got to go?
Man, it's crazy. I just tried, and I don't know, they're kind of like similar, but we tried, Killer Pizza from Mars, and it's got some good pizza there. Um, Killer Pizza from Mars is pretty good. And I only get the cheese pizza anyway. I don't really do all the toppings or whatever. If I do the toppings, it's probably like jalapenos and pineapple or something.
Ooh,
Give it a little hot and spicy.
Interesting combo.
Spicy sweet combo.
Okay.
But there's a place out here called Shakey's too. I don't know if you guys got a Shakey's out there. But it's a place called Shakey's. You take the kids there too. They got like a little arcade, and that's got some good pizza. But my lady has actually been to New York, and she told me that no pizza out here in California has topped any pizza from New York. So just like you gotta come to the West Coast, I gotta come to the East Coast and try some of that New York pizza because I still have yet to try any. And I guess it's different because the water is different. I guess the water is different. The
People
dough
say
is
the
different.
water. You know, I'm out in Massachusetts though. It's all good. I'm gonna just educate some people. It ain't the water, you know. I'm out in Massachusetts and people are loving my pizza. There's a few things you need. You need a scale and you need a thermometer. That's really like what you need to make the proper pizza, you know. It's funny, there's like an old lady from that like lives in Pennsylvania that wins the international pizza competition. How is that? You know what I mean? She's not from New York, but that's just like an interesting thing. People are like, oh, do you get your water sent up from New York? We'll just tell people, yeah, to mess with them. But it ain't about the water, you know. We just know how to do some things the right way, you know?
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, whenever you out on the East Coast, you know, if you in Massachusetts, we'd love to have you anytime. I actually might be moving out west. I might be over near Finess soon. I'm going to go be visiting out in Colorado soon and looking to expand a little bit. But, you know, that's kind of where we're at with it. So besides pizza, do you have any other sort of go-to spots? I know there's probably some big Latin food spots, right?
Oh man, they got a Jamaican food spot out here that's pretty good. It's called One Love Cuisine. Jamaican food spot is pretty good. Man, I don't know, man. That spot's pretty good. Oh, we got a place over here. It's got like soul food. It's called Felix Barbecue. That's pretty good. They got some good stuff over there.
I could go for some barbecue right now. That sounds good.
Yeah, they got some good stuff over there. Man, we got like Mexican food spots up the Yin Yang that are like really good out here. You know, if you want some grade A Mexican food, come on out here to San Diego.
That's what I need to get on.
Yep, come on out here to San Diego, man. They'll treat you right. Definitely.
For sure. So, okay. Clypto, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation. I really enjoyed it. You gave us a lot of great insight. You know, you made my job really easy. I was able to let you just go, and you know, you gave us some great, like I said, just great insight and you know, a look into your mind and kind of your process. So I really appreciate that. Thank you once again. Tell all the people where they can find you and connect with you, and you know, get beats or you know, try to build with you.
Yeah, you can you holler at me anytime, man. I'm on IG. For most of my time, I'm spent on IG. If you can find me there, it's going to be under at Clypto Beats. So that's going to be CLYPTOBEATZ on IG. Yeah, just holler at me in the DM, or you know, you can leave a comment, whatever the case may be.
Holla at Clypto and be on the lookout for the Loop 2 coming soon.
Indeed. Yep. Oh.